Welcome to Dirksón Photography and welcome to the Sony a7 III review or user experience. When you know this channel, you know that I mostly photograph with Canon cameras, but I also like to take a look at the market, what's out there and what are other photography companies doing to help us take beautiful images. And the Sony a7 III has caught so much attention over the last years that I thought I have to try this camera. And actually I rented the camera with the Sigma 24 1.4 art lens and the Sigma MC adapter to use my Canon lenses also. And the emotion that I had when I tried out the Sony a7 III was, I don't like it. And that was my idea before I ever touched the camera. I had not a great opinion about it. I thought, I don't like it. It is a black box that is filled with computer technology that has nothing to do with photography. I don't see soul, I don't see heart, I don't see passion. I only see technology, computer. It's not handmade, there are not people creating it, it's robotics creating it, it's computer creating it. That was my approach to it. I just wanted to rent it to have that idea approved and to leave the camera to the side and say it's a bad camera. That was my plan. So, and there are some things that you hear people talk about all the time, like the menus are terrible, the Sony colors are bad, and maybe the feeling of the camera is not nice. And so I had my opinion about it before I touched it. And then when I got the camera, it actually felt better in the hands than I expected, even with the big 85 1.2 Canon L lens. By using the adapter, it still felt pretty good, and I could film and take pictures with one hand holding the camera and filming myself with another camera on the other hand. And so I was really surprised at how the camera performed. I was the whole time trying to turn the camera down. I was looking for weaknesses. I was looking for moments where I can say I got you. And the camera actually surprised me in all areas. When I got the camera, I went through the menu and looked at every single menu point. And of course, there were some points that I could not understand because in the menu, it's mostly not written out, but it's just the first 2-3 letters and then there's a point. And so you kind of have to guess what that means or look it up in the menu. But after going through the menu, it was not as bad as everyone said it was. So I did find it. The menu is huge. There are a lot of pages that you can go through because the camera has really a lot of settings that you can set up. And I think when you get this camera and buy it, I think you can get around with it really well. You mostly don't need every single setting. You have your preferences and then you know where to find these settings that you use on a regular basis. So the settings were much better than I expected. The feeling of holding the camera was much better than I expected. The grip was really nice. It felt really well even with the big heavy lenses that I used from my Canon system. And talking about Canon lenses on the Sony a7 III, I expected the autofocus to be really, really bad. At least worse than using native Canon cameras. Though actually the Sigma MC adapter performed so well that I could use the 85 1.2 at f1.2 and I could use any Canon lens I have on the Sony a7 III without any compromise in autofocus capability. I could use and make use of the Sony great face detection and autofocus system with the eye in focus, and that really surprised me. The next thing where everybody talked about bad was the colors, the skin tones. People talk about they spend a lot of time getting the colors right after a photo shoot or in a movie mode. And let me show you some images I took straight from the camera, unedited. These are the JPEG files, and I'm really happy with how it looks. It looks actually pretty much like they came from my Canon cameras. And I think I shoot everything in the same way. I've written an ebook about it, Master Your Camera, in which I explain how I take pictures and so they look really nice without having to edit them. How you can get great images straight from the camera without ever touching them in the editing program. And I use the same approach to any camera, whether I have a Fuji, a Sony, a Panasonic, a Leica, a Hasselblad or Canon, and it all works the same. In fact, you only have three things that you have to set. It's the shutter speed, aperture and ISO, and on digital cameras it's the white balance, which creates the color. The color is created by the white balance, which in film days were affected by the film you choose. But in digital area, it's the white balance. The white balance makes the color, not the picture style, not the picture profile. And so I was really happy and surprised positively how great the Sony a7 III worked, because I really did not want to like it. I wanted to crush it. I just wanted to get it out of my head. Test it, approve, you don't like it, gone. But it performed so well. And I did not take many videos, but the videos I took were so smooth and stable with the in-body image stabilization, the IBIS, that really fascinated me, and how clear the 4K video was. I did hold the camera like this with the 85mm 1.2 lens on it, and the video was really smooth, clean. I did not move much, I just held it, but the 85mm lens is pretty shaky normally, even if you just hold it like this, if it doesn't have image.
Kleinen Moment dauert eben. Ja. Ich glaube, das sind die drei gleichen. Ne?
Stabilization. And so let's go into some of the videos, some of the photo shoots, so you actually can see how I took images with this camera. Und ich gehe noch mal weiter zurück. I go a little bit further away. And look to each other. And change the... Yeah.
Okay. Your touch trigger. Oh.
Yeah, perfect. That looks really, really nice. Perfect. And look to each other. And I come a little bit closer, just like this. Okay.
Okay. I think we should let it go.
ist schön so. So ist das schön. Schauen. Ja, das ist schön. Okay.
Na, guck mal. Hat auch was, ne?
Ja, ist ein anderer Look. Und schau noch mal zur Sonne. Ich komme einmal von der anderen Seite. Ja, so, ist sehr schön so. Ja? Ja.
Soll ich das rein?
Ja, so, sehr schön.
Ja, ich finde ihn auch gut, aber ich finde ihn auch schwer verdaulich.
Inhaltlich.
Ja. Aber
Ne?
ich,
So als Trainer muss man da wahrscheinlich auch, weil er schon sehr nerdig ist. Ne?
Now let's take a look at the edited files. And I edit images like I take pictures pretty quickly, and I do it always the same way. So my Canon files or Hasselblad files or whatever camera I use, I edit them all the same way. And I've created a Lightroom preset pack so you can get the same look if you want to. I link in the description, I put a link there where I've edited actually these images that you see here from Anna with the Sony a7 III. I've edited them in Lightroom and filmed it so you can see how I did that. And you see how I edited them in under 5 seconds using the presets. So if you want to learn that, that video might help you. And the funny thing is, you know, that might be positive or negative. In the end, at the end of the day, after editing the images, they actually looked like I've taken them with the Canon cameras, which I think is really funny. That might be the case because I use Canon lenses, or because of my editing style. But it's, I mean, people talk about the Sony a7 III has incredible dynamic range. I personally found no real big difference between using my Canon cameras and the Sony a7 III when I looked at the images that I took. But I take images for the image and not for the technical review. I don't photograph a brick wall and then zoom into the corner to see if the lens is sharp. That's not what I do. I take pictures for the reason to take pictures for the image, not to test the sensor. So I did not really test. It's more a user experience. You will find many reviews that go into technical comparisons. I'm not going to do that. I just can say that the images turn out really well. I could edit them in the same way I edit my Canon files. And I actually get the same results. They look pretty much the same. If I had taken these images with the Canon camera or Sony a7 III, Canon 6D Mark I, 6D Mark II, RP that's filming now, I think I would not have seen a big difference if I used the same lenses or the same focal length. And so I was really happy with the result. I will make another video where I compare the Sony a7 III to the Canon EOS R and the Fuji X-T3, the flagship cameras of the big companies. And we will take a look at what the cameras have and what they don't have. Now something that the Sony don't have, which is important to me, is a flip out screen, so I can see myself. I can see, is the sun is the sun coming in pretty, or am I between the sun so you can see my face, or am I beside the sun so you don't see my face that good? I can see it on my Canon camera because I have the flip out screen, and this is important if I take pictures of myself, which I do a lot, if I do videos like this, which I do a lot, if I take pictures of me and my son, which I like to do a lot. So the Sony a7 III lacks this, but in general I wanted to dislike the camera. I hated the camera before I touched it, and when I got it I really liked it. I had a lot of respect for it, and I really can only say positive things about it. If you want a camera that's incredible with autofocus, IAF, feels good in the hands, great battery life, incredible amount of native lenses and all focal length from super wide angle to telephoto lens with great apertures. You have third-party lenses like the Sigma Art lens that I use, the 24-1.4. You have the Sigma MC adapter, so you can use the Canon lenses. You can adapt any Leica M lens on it manually if you like. You can use the Zebra if you manual focus, so you can see what's actually in focus and what's not. You have the in-body image stabilization, you have the 4K video. The camera is filled with everything you might need, and there are only a few things it doesn't have, like the flip out screen, which is important to me. The LCD screen is not as great as the year 2020, other cameras in the year 2020, but in fact it's a a7 III is already a couple of years old now, so it's totally fine. Image quality is great, frame rate is great, the colors in my opinion is great, the menu, I think you can work with it, the feeling is good, all the buttons you can put whatever you need on it, so there's nothing really bad to say about it, and it's very difficult for me to say something negative to a camera because all cameras nowadays are great. So I believe every camera that I will ever pick up will give you great images. The question is it a camera that you like to use? That is more important right now than actually the technical side, because all cameras go to a very high ISO, they all have great lenses, they all have great dynamic range, they all give you so much, and so I leave you now with more images and some videos I took with it. Thank you very much and have a great 2020.